Okay, we are live. We're like what, a minute early, I think.
No, it's 10:30.
Okay. Okay, it actually hit at 10:30. Okay, hold on. Okay, we're going to go over the questions that was sent in, and I uploaded the blog, so I just listed the questions. I didn't list what we're going to talk about. But the first one, what issues that make this case so difficult? Um, Pretty much lack of strong evidence, DNA, stuff like that. Really, no witnesses. When nobody's talking, everybody's quiet about it. Whoever done the crime. Number two, this kind of is my question when I was researching some more on it. Did the sister find the receipt in the trash, or did the police find the receipt in the trash? Because the picture of it, because this is the overall view of it. Now, let me move my finger out of the way. Let me quit hitting everything. Jesus Christ. Hold on. Okay. This is the overall view. Hold on, but you see the little white thing right there? That is a receipt next to a calculator. There's an up close of it. So my thing is, with that, what would you do? Like, any, which does it say? Does it say about did you use a card? Is that a card number? Is that a?
Well, if you'd let me look at it.
I don't know. But if that's a card note, if she used a card, then maybe the calculator could be calculating, like she set down to calculate out of her bank account. Very possibility.
Yeah, I think she used a card.
Okay, so that means it wouldn't have been in the trash then. I don't know why you would, why, that's kind of my thing, what made her look in the trash? Why, if you got out of the trash, why would you lay it in the floor by a calculator? And one video, like I said, did say the police found it. And if that's the case, then we know why they looked in the trash, because that was just them trying to look around the area. But I don't know why it would be in the floor if her sister found the trash. I figured she would kind of just set it on something to say, hey, this is where she was at, instead of, you know what I mean? That's on the next one. It says in the receipt, you can see where it says that she ate a 10-piece chicken nugget. And I've always assumed chicken nuggets were especially we're in a box, the 10-piece, not a wrapper. The only thing wrapper, what was it, fries she got? Well, she got a 10-piece meal, so most likely fries.
A fried drink and 10-piece nugget.
2 honey
mustard.
Honey mustard, yeah. 1 medium Coke. So, looking at that, probably nothing significant in that. The next question, did Leah grow her fingernails out, or did she keep them short?
This picture is really distorted.
Yeah, it's well, that was me
you
trying.
You can just see that it's short.
That was just one picture I could find.
It's short,
and tried to
see that much.
Cut it out, but it looks like she kept them pretty well trimmed. Because I was kind of wondering if
they look done up too, painted or whatever, really kept. But
I was thinking if there was possible DNA under her nails, but I'm assuming they would have said something if there was. If she was strangled, her scratching, trying to fight, especially if they used their hands.
They may not release that though.
They may not. So, but that would be DNA they would test. I'm assuming they only got the DNA on her body, like hair follicle. Our question number 4: do we know how she was strangled? With hands or something else? I've never heard anything. It's always been kind of assumed that somebody used their hands, But what if they used a belt or rope, any piece of
They could
cloth?
even be anything like super thin, too.
Yeah, any piece of cloth that you could make a strangle with. That kind of makes me wonder. I'm assuming if they use hands, they would have their fingerprints on it.
We get bruising and like stuff from anything.
Well, yeah. What I'm saying, you'd have the fingerprints where they dug into. But I've never heard of that. Like, so there's
They
nobody's
probably
ever.
just don't want to release that.
Well, they're not going to release a whole lot because then that could jeopardize everything.
Like it's technically still it's an open like considered active, even though it's when it cold.
Yeah.
Like it's still active and they can't give out certain information just as if it had just happened yesterday and they're investigating. Like it's the same exact rules. You can't tell anything.
Yes. Number 5, why haven't the police tested for DNA with the evidence they have left? From my understanding, when they did test it, nothing came back, so they're waiting for it to get better, like technology, because I'm assuming they have a very small amount, and if they keep using it,
Yeah, you're gonna damage
they
it.
lose it, and then they don't have any evidence. So they're trying to wait till it's basically perfect time to test it, and then once they test it, then hopefully it'll link to somebody. To me personally, I think they're just kind of setting on this until that DNA can be tested to further prove something. Is that what you think?
Yeah.
Very possibility. Was her trunk and car ever really tested? We've talked about it before. Police did confirm a car door was slightly open, which was, I think, the back passenger door, if I remember correctly. Fingerprint dust still visible on the car. And if they got the print, then it must have been Leah's because I've never heard of anything else about it, or it could be something else they're keeping hush hush. But I'm assuming they would have tested it though against suspects if they, did get one. I've read a male friend of hers had asked on MySpace if she had got her car fixed on the 13th. So this was the day before, and that would kind of be what if there was fingerprints from. I think it was the mom and stepdad helped her fix the car, if I'm not mistaken. See, she disappeared and was murdered, but did on Wednesday. So you're looking from Friday to Saturday, Sunday. It's about to say 4 days. So why would they put a clothes basket in her car? I just don't understand why. I don't know. They may have been confused, maybe a little bit on it. Number 7, was any of the suspects ever given a lie detector test? At first, I couldn't find anything, but yesterday was told this. I have a friend that's a retired Huntington police. Well, he worked Huntington Police Department. They know who done it. He failed the lie detector test a couple times, but they had no physical evidence to convict him. That's why the case is cold unless he confesses or they stumble upon something. So he's saying it'll never be
But
solved.
doesn't failing the test give you a little bit of like
Well,
leverage?
they don't hold it. They don't hold up in court, and there's people can fail it with not actually being innocent of the crime.
Well, I know that you can pass and fail them easily because it goes on your heart rate.
Yeah.
But why are they so nervous?
That I do not know, to be honest with you. Our connection's a little bit unstable right
I
now.
don't know if they can even see us. Is that our rating?
I know. I'm trying to reconnect. I think it's weather is what's bothering it. Can you guys see us right now? Okay. Sorry if we're cutting in and out. It's been iffy all day, I think, due to the weather. But it said it was referring to the sister's boyfriend, the one that failed the lie detector test. Um, and he said they knew it was 100% him, but like I said, it would never hold up in court, is why they're not really pushing it. Which I've seen that happen a few times and things. Okay, that's what I was. Yeah, we're kind of. It's been going in and out all day. I'd say it's probably due to the weather. Um, number 8. Is it true that the Huntington Police Department knows who killed her, just didn't know anything about it? I've heard this many times, and it seems very possible. Most likely, they do know somebody. Like I said, we'll go more into detail with that, and kind of goes back to number 7. Was the sister's car ever investigated in case of moving her body? I believe it was the current boyfriend, is the way I understood. There's some more things that we'll be talking about that kind of goes in with that. Because I've talked to a few people and they seem to always get like, one will say, boyfriend, but I kind of believe it's the ex boyfriend at times because they'll say, well, he was in the army. So I was like, well, I know that's not the current boyfriend. So I'm assuming current boyfriend, but it could still be ex because some people get kind of confused, I think. But okay, was the sister's car ever investigated in case of moving her body? I've not heard anything on this. A lot feel she was moved, but a lot points to that Leah's body was never moved. So it kind of just depends on what you want to take with that. Um, how long before a cold case is considered closed? Cases can go cold pretty quickly, and it could go within a week. It could take years. It all depends on the leads, evidence, witnesses. If it stops coming in, then police can't really do anything until something new comes to light. Technically, it would never really be closed until they can link a suspect to the crime. But say, probably I would think in a sense, like if say somebody died, like they know they done it, but the person died, like they might not really it'd still be open, but still kind of closed because they probably wouldn't be doing nothing because like, well, the suspect died, that most likely
That
done
would be
it.
closed if it was like dead on for sure evidence.
Yeah, but they never could say he died before trial or something.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it would still be closed. They just wouldn't be able to give much justice, like you said.
No, yeah,
Like it would, like I think they would still have to close that.
I don't know. I think I don't know because I've read some cases where they'll do that.
I'll Google it.
It will still be like they know who done it, and the person will kill themselves or something, and then okay, that's the end of the questions. So there's 10 of them. Like I said, I have these questions mentioned on that. Um, I was listening to a podcast. I've heard another one on it. Hold on. I've been researching a show called Unusual Suspects on Hillary. They were very interesting case on there. It took over 20 years to close. Yeah, there's a lot of cases that takes years and years to solve. I like the ones too, the ones that are the Jane Does and the John Does, when they actually get their identity back. I really find those interesting because sometimes it takes 30, 40 years to get their identity back, and then once maybe they can get to who possibly killed them. But like I said, one of the podcasts I listened to, I heard this case again recently on another one, and it made me kind of think because the guy he actually killed the girl got involved with like he was talking on the news and everything. Well, it turned out he killed the girl, but he was in an apartment building and one of the rooms were empty, and he had keys and stuff to the empty apartments. And I think he was actually going into other people's apartments as well. So my question kind of would have been, what if there's a struggle in one of the empty apartments? Like, what if they got Leah in her apartment and then took her to an empty apartment? Or they caught her in the hallway and then took her into one of the empty apartments and killed her, took her down the crawl space. But the bloodhound, I would think he would pick up a scent. And, from my understanding, the dog only picked up the scent on the apartment. to the car, and no place around the building or inside, from my understanding. But can we rule out she wasn't washing clothes, like some have said, because you would think it would pick up her scent down the laundry room, and you would think dog would picked it up, like I said, in the laundry room. And law enforcement has never confirmed if she was washing clothes or not. So, what do you think about that theory?
Well, aside from that, what I do learn, it basically says that it's still closed, but the defense lawyer will file a motion and suggestion of death, and they attach the death certificate to the case. So, if you know they done it and they die, they're not going to continue with the trial. They just put their death certificate with that file and close it, like it's a closed case.
Okay. Which it probably still kind of depends, though, too. Like,
I'm sure it varies, but
well, some serial killer
generally,
cases.
that's how it is.
Because I think of one of them that I remember reading, the dude died, but there was evidence to say, hey, he done it to an extent, but there wasn't enough to prove it he done it, so they just kind of assumed.
But with this, I'm still weird about the dogs, though. I don't want it to sound morbid because I know it's local, and she was, friends and family, just like any murder victim is. But I'm not being rude or weird about it. I'm not trying to I don't know if they don't get hate about it, but if she was dead and the dogs were meant to trained to pick up just live scents, you know what I mean? Yeah, you think her scent would still be there, but if she's dead, wouldn't they need a cadaver dog?
Well, some people say the cadaver dog found her.
I'm not trying to be rude or be oh, she's dead, you need a cadaver dog, but
well, they didn't know she was dead at the time.
Well, yeah, but you know what I mean? I feel like you should, yeah, that's rude, and you, I can understand it from the family's point of view. If they brought in a cadaver dog, it would probably hurt my heart, and I would be upset, but I would want to rule out any, I would just want to rule that out. If a cadaver dog went in there and didn't find anything, I'd be okay, well, we ruled it out. I don't think I would be that offended. I think I would just be hurt because that would be a possibility. But with any missing person, I feel like that's a possibility.
Yes, I agree. One thing I read too, it was mentioned a large bone was found in the crawl space as well, and it turned out to be an animal. Large bone, what would you think? A dog, maybe? It don't really.
Yeah, a dog.
I want to say somebody told me that. I think.
Thank you.
No. Okay. Well, here's another thing. It says it was reported the police said it was the boyfriend. They just don't have the evidence. Not sure on current or ex. It was told to the owner of the building. So, like I said, that's what I was talking about earlier. People was confused on because when they say boyfriend, I'll be like, was it the ex-boyfriend? They'll be like, well, I'm not sure. So there's confusion on which boyfriend. But usually, like I said, if they say Army, then I can kind of pinpoint which one they're talking about. The original investigator on the case, it was reported he said there was nothing. No one saw anything or knew anything, and the case has always haunted him. So, you can look at it that way. Someone cleared a bunch of stuff out of the bottom apartment. And was it the ex's apartment? Could this be the apartment the lady saw the two men in that we talked about in the other video? And the rumor we mentioned is he lived in the apartment, if you remember in the other video, but heard he lived with the sister for 2 years in the building. This individual said they were told probably a bad sex thing gone wrong. The ex got scared, but there's reports that there was no sexual assault. Also,
no assault.
Well, somebody said something about, well, what if he wore a condom thing, like condom, but
you can still test lubricants, but I think
if that it's confirmed her clothes was on her,
or they may have just not been very far in it, like, kind of like foreplay type, and she, like some people like to be choked. Like, not saying she did, just saying, like,
well,
if
it
it
could have
was
been
a sex thing that gone wrong, it could have been like some.
foreplay. Like she said no, and then he just basically killed her. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but if we're saying like accidental, I feel like it
Well, it'd be
could have just went a
accidental,
little
but
too
he could have
far.
still got rough, if it was not intentional, and say that she didn't want any of it as well. But also was told when cleaning out Leah's closet, they found pictures of Leah. So it kind of brings up the question: was Leah really scared of this ex-boyfriend, like a lot has claimed?
But
Them all
she dated the guy.
No, Leah did.
Oh, it's her sister. Well,
They were all together. Like Leah was supposed to be scared of this ex-boyfriend and like hid in rooms away from him. But this person said they found pictures when they cleaned out the apartment of them all together.
but that
could just be out of respect for her sister.
That could have been before she was scared.
Or before.
Like, it could be old. Like, if it doesn't have the timestamp on it, like that, I don't feel like that should be questioned, because that almost, like, I know it's not, but it almost sounds like victim blaming. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that should be taken into consideration, because you never know when that was. Or she could have just been really scared and been like, oh, like, he could have been like, you need to come hang out with us. And
yeah, that was my point. Was that it could have been
Yeah.
afterwards. Like I said, she still could have been at some point disrespectful to her sister.
Yeah, it could have been in the beginning. She's like, oh, I don't really like this guy, but like for my sister, I'll put forth effort.
Okay. Okay, the next, it was basically mentioned that the cops didn't do their job and let a lot slide and basically stopped doing the investigation after she was found.
Well, I mean,
Okay, I just like I have my phone on with this too, and then I just saw your message. I saw it on there first. I feel like I've read somewhere that the creepy maintenance man guy had been taking pictures of her. I just can't remember where I read it, either websites or Reddit. Maybe sounds about right. Yeah, I've like. There's been a lot of bad rep on the Huntington Police Department. Not saying anything, to
we're not
jeopardize them.
anti-police, but kind of like sort of, because I've never
Yeah.
had a good experience with cops. Like, most of the people I know have not had a good experience, and you don't feel safe, you feel scared around cops. So that's not the way it should be. Like, I know there's still good ones, but the majority is not great.
I'm kind of wondering where,
They don't do
because
their job.
trying to remember about the picture taking, because I read both parts of Web Sleuths. I think I read most of Reddit's, but I'm not sure. That would be interesting.
Is it kind of? Are those kind of like what topics used to be?
No, like Web Sleuths, like they actually like really get into it. Like they usually post in articles, talking back and forth, kind of like what we're doing.
Okay.
Like they'll ask questions and say, "Hey, they're actually topics is just basically a bunch of people that get on there and just."
Well, yeah, that's what I was just wondering, because I've never been on either of those, so I wasn't sure if it was like topics or like legit information.
And Reddit's pretty good too. Like they're kind of good, but Web Sleuths is really good. Like I think that one guy, one of the cases we covered on the podcast where he like found the identity. I think it was on Web Sleuths, but they really do they're armchair detectives basically. So, I talked to someone who had 18 years of police experience in forensics. And I talked to him about, about Leah to get their opinion. And they said this. Hold on. Okay, I'll try and go back and read screenshot if I did send it to you guys. Might have been right. Okay, thank you. That will be great. But they said lots of evidence. That's a pretty good temperature, and you would have some decay for sure. Well, the temperature, had been cool.
Yeah, well.
Plastic would likely prevent insect activity.
Mm-hmm.
Might get rats having a snack though. Clothing would be there. Blood would be on the clothes if there was any. Any injuries would still be notable for the most part. DNA would be found on clothing. So that kind of makes you wonder on it. Um, I don't know, like if they only found hair, I just kind of you would think there'd be more fingerprints on the plastic.
If they wear gloves.
Yeah, that'd be annoying.
Like that's what I'm
But
saying. Like it could have been just a planned thing by somebody. Like
like
put gloves
it
on
would
and
point into being plain like well the only thing if it
there
was
is no way it could not be planned. Like there's no way you could just
well
randomly do that and not leave a trace of anything.
okay where the sister's a suspect if you take her out and say it wasn't her then it's still somebody that knew the sister wasn't going to be there like it's somebody that
I
knew
definitely think it's somebody in the circle.
it's somebody that knew like everything like if it was random like everything added up perfectly so I don't think it's random because it's got to be somebody that knows
No schedule, knows what's going on.
because like there's a house down the road here that got broke into years ago. Well, people that lived up the holler, they know the house was never lived in. Like people keep the lights on and stuff. They come and mow it, during the spring and summer, like once a week. And there's a big barn, so somebody could park their car in there, live in the house. But people up here knew that it was empty. Well, somebody broke into it, so they assumed it was somebody that lived up the holler and knew nobody lived there. So, like a lot of the evidence points that it was planned. Like, did it plan that far? Like gloves, everything, possibly. Which I,
Or but like there's been a lot of mention of the maintenance guy. Like he would just naturally be wearing gloves for certain jobs, you know what I mean?
and they talked about they were replacing the water heater, like we've talked about.
Like you could just be wearing gloves for like a certain job and just be like,
Okay.
oh,
Yes, I agree. I think there's more you would think if you're getting strangled, you're going to try and fight them off, possibly scratch them, and have the data or fingernails, like y'all mentioned earlier. Yeah, that's what I'm still thinking. Like her nails, like in that picture, which on the blog you can kind of see
well,
the
you can still
picture.
like short nails too. Like if you're fighting
They're
for your
probably like
life,
if you could see mine, they kind of look like mine. Mine's not very long, but
mine's long right now
like
too.
you would think, I would still like if I scratch you right now, I'd probably still get something
Oh
underneath
yeah,
it. And mine's not very long at all.
especially if like you're using that force to fight for your life, like you're gonna get
Yeah,
something.
yeah. Even though she was a small girl, she's still gonna because that's your natural instinct is fighting. So, that's kind of the way we would look at it. Hey, my shirt actually connects to something coming up. I forgot all about that. Sorry. Just, I find that comical. Yeah, the
Mm-hmm.
hydrant. Like if she had lime on her, that's. Well, I don't know. I don't think. Did we ever talk about if it was confirmed or not? If lime was. Because I don't think it's ever been said if lime was used. I know it's been speculated because somebody mentioned it.
They may not want to say it.
But I don't know if the completions ever confirmed it. If you see mist, we're blowing one
I
of
don't
those.
think you can see it.
I can kind of see it.
It's an instant burner.
I think I see it by your head. Maybe it looked like it was over in this area.
Oh.
But yeah, like that means it'd be if her body did have that on there, and say it was in the apartment, so that would mean that like whoever done it, they had stuff on hand, so to speak. Okay, the next part is talking about the one maintenance guy, the Chuck Ginger guy, that the one that died and all that. And the woman said that he stalked. And supposedly he was the maintenance man of this building, but was he ever confirmed to be the maintenance man by the police? And from my understanding, he had stalk and then harass one female for a while and then go away. Yeah, you can see it now. Yeah, you can see it coming across my chest. Okay, but it said basically pop up every 5 years. So I don't know if he would stalk a woman for like 5 years and then quit.
You said he was working on the water?
Well, whoever it was, they were Like they were working like faucets, I think pipes, and they said water tank.
Because I just Googled, like, all the uses for lime. It's usually used in, like, soils and stuff like that, but you can use it in water treatment for water softening.
Huh, that's interesting.
So if they're working on the water, that, like, connects as well. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Well, here it says that he'd harass them for a year roughly, so I'm assuming he'd just harass them for a year and quit harassing. Okay. So, might as well say every 5 years he'd harass a lady for a year. And if that's the case, I'm sure Leah would have said something about the creepy maintenance guy harassing her to a friend, her sister, her mom, her dad. You know what I mean? Like, if you're getting harassed for a while by somebody, you're going to say, hey, this dude's being creepy. Like, she might not report it to the police or nothing, but she could at least
Yeah, but
say
just, like, talking about
inner
your life.
circle.
Yeah.
Like,
Just like if I don't do something, I'd come back and tell you, like, oh, this
Yeah.
person was, like, super weird.
Yeah, like that's what I kind of think. Not ruling him out or nothing, but like I said, do we know that he was the maintenance guy of the building? It's been said that he was, but do we know for sure? Like I said, he died. They say he committed suicide, so we don't know. Everybody that he has stalked is still alive. He may have been an abuser, which is bad enough, but would he kill someone? Do you think they could go to that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she's agreeing with what we're saying. I don't know. That's just the way I would feel like if I'm being stalked. But do you think like because from my understanding he abused a lot of like harassed like some of the people he dated. He abused. I don't know if it's physical, mental, but do you think he'd actually get to a point where he's going to kill somebody?
When you're dead, do you think like I mean like your DNA would still be your DNA? Like I know they can tell it from bones and dental records, like whatever. Like yeah, I know they can figure that out. But like if they already know it's you, can they exhume you and try to get like a DNA like hair particle or like something small to match something like that? Like can you do that to dead people?
Or to link
Like
something.
someone should do that to him. Like
But if they turned it in, like did they do
it
it?
probably doesn't have enough grounds
Well,
to exhume a body.
it's kind of like Ted Bundy. Because they were saying that he was a suspect, but he might not even been in that area. He was just a suspect because he was active during that time frame. So if this guy was stalking those women in this time frame, they could be like, well, it could just be a coincidence that the guy was in the area. Because Bundy, I don't think he was a suspect in those, but I don't think he done it because there's really no evidence to pinpoint him to it. Not say like, it'd be like 90% sure he didn't do it type thing. So I just don't know if it's just, hey, mention this is what I'm talking about the shirt. Brags he's related to Charles Manson. Supposedly his mother is his grandmother and sister was his mother, like Ted Bundy. So
Wait, what? Say it again.
Okay. Before we go any further, Charles Manson.
Wait, what? Say it again.
Okay. Before we go any further, Charles Manson, he's not a serial killer. So the guy's basically bragging. And he's
related.
Yeah, that he's related.
And saying that he's
we could
product of incest?
Kind of. Well, we can go far in the Charles Manson thing because
that could be another video.
Yeah, I am kind of not following what the media says about Charles Manson. Okay, so you have this Charles Manson, and he's saying that basically like Ted Bundy, where Ted Bundy's mom, they played it off like it was his sister. So it might not be the same thing of Ted Bundy, because supposedly they think that Ted Bundy's grandpa was actually his father.
Oh, that wasn't confirmed. Well, I think his mom confirmed it at one.
So basically, that's what he's saying was that
the same. Like he's saying his mom.
His
was
mother is his grandmother, and
dad.
sister was his mother. So it could have been something like that, or maybe just raised up like that. But either way, I kind of wonder this. What if he was just saying that to kind of scare the females, like more of mental control, be like, oh, I got, Charles Manson family blood, because most people believe what the media says. and he's claiming, to be like Ted Bundy, so that might scare them. Mental abuse to keep them under his power, like, oh, I'm like them, so you need to be scared of me type thing. And this kind of here makes me question him as well. Said that he hides behind a gun and beats up women. So he hides behind a gun and beats up women.
Like points a gun at him, then beats him up.
Well, he probably say a woman's like, "Oh, I'm gonna jump you," and he's like, "Oh, no, you're not." And pulls out a gun. He's like scared. Like I said, manipulation. Using Charles Manson, Ted Bundy mentally, and then hiding behind a gun when anybody tries to do anything. So,
well, yeah,
strangulation. Like, if he was really going to, couldn't he just shoot Leah? You know what I mean? I don't know. There's so much.
I feel like if stalkers get the chance, I feel like they would kill people. Like the Netflix show called You. I feel like if stalkers get the chance, I feel like they would kill people. Like the Netflix show called You. He's a fish, just piling up the bodies. What's that?
That's a big long message. I don't know. It's with him being dead, you really don't know. Like, you can talk to the females and stuff, but
exhume the body, get some DNA.
Well,
burn.
The lady that said she saw the two men working on the apartment in the last video we talked about, or suspect video, whatever video it was.
Suspect video.
Yeah. Sorry,
don't know if it was last one or not.
We've been doing this for a month on it. And like I said, I've basically worked on Leah's case almost every day about something. But she said the two guys were late 30s, and he would have been probably 40s, I think, if I remember correctly. I looked at the obituary. I can't remember. I know I shared it in the group. So, but like I said, he killed himself in the Days Inn motel, and they said he killed himself.
Okay.
Just he's crazy about his ex. So would he actually? Could that be enough frustration just to take that all? I kind of believe he's just a mental, physical abuser. He thinks he wants control over any girl he dated, and I would think too, sexually assault Leah. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of get that vibe. Like, if he's stalking a girl and he wants her, I don't think he's just going to kill her. Unless he just gets off on that type of thing. Like, that's a very possibility as well. So,
I mean, yeah.
With that, to me personally, I still think Leah's death was personal.
Like, yeah, I still think it was personal. Like, someone in the circle, maybe not him, I don't know, but someone like in there. For sure.
Yeah,
someone close.
I don't see him being a personal aspect. Like, I think his only thing would be to stalk. Like, he might have stalked her, but would that? Well, I guess it could make, like you said with you, that dude made everything personal. So I guess that's a possibility.
I would probably be like the worst. I would be exhuming bodies left and right.
Well, you still got to talk to the family and get it okay.
I know, but still, I would be up everybody's ass all the time. Like, hey, can I pick this up?
Well, what if she turned him down? Like, would he have hit on her? Let's say she turned him down. Would that make it? Would that give him a personal reason?
I don't think a stalker like that would have confidence right off the jump. So maybe after he stalked her a while, because I don't think he would just be like, "Oh, hello, date me."
Yeah.
Like, he'd probably want to like stalk her, learn her routine and everything, and then be like, "I know you're free." Probably want to like stalk her, learn her routine and everything, and then be like, "I know you're free."
Yeah. Or the current. Well, if we know, do you think the ex-boyfriend would have sexually assaulted her? Or the current. Well, if we know, like, say if it was the current boyfriend of the sister, like you wouldn't think he would, because that means that where everybody says the half sister helped him. So I don't see him doing that. And he's gonna feel close to her, and then she turns him down, and bam. To confirm who the maintenance man was. Was it just a friend that helped, like we talked about, set up to the owner and the brother? So I forgot what their last names were. So could it have been the friend? That's where I kind of wonder at. Could this guy be the friend? Gone wrong, but the police said no sexual assault. If the boyfriend didn't make a pass at her, then I would think he would have sexually assaulted her as well. Would you think so? That's why I kind of think that's why they don't really think a male done it at times, because where she wasn't sexually assaulted.
Because men are gross and
I
freaking
know.
are too forceful and pushy.
But like we said a little bit ago, they could just get off on the whole, just the kill itself.
But also, like,
that's my first theory. Honestly, I feel like her sister. That's one of the main theories on that.
I feel like,
because if the sister done it, like if she done it by herself, I don't think she has the against women. I don't think she has the strength to move, body
weight by herself.
Pulling. Because I'm thinking, because the way the guy that I talked to, like he said he was a big guy, but he had to hunker down, and pulling, that would be a lot. I feel like my would have been capable of something like this, and yeah. So it's very possible.
Normal damage that you see in typical sexual assault cases. Like, could it still be possible that she was and they just didn't pick up on it? Like, is there anything like a sexual assault, but it may have just not been damaging, and they could have used a condom, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wonder, like, if she could still possibly have had that happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wonder, like, if she could still possibly have had that happen.
That is true, but I'm going to use that in our next thing we talk about. I posted the picture on the blog, so you'll see what we're talking about. I kind of had this theory. It's way out over it up. And
I don't know why you would.
What I mean by that, like, where some people's like, if somebody in their family commits suicide, they don't really like being attached to that. So would you think somebody would actually cover it up to say, she didn't do that, she was murdered? I don't think that. But
are they really religious?
I
don't think she killed herself.
I don't think so either. I just want to throw that
theory,
out there.
But I don't think so.
Because looking at this,
that's
her bag supposedly that she was packing in to leave for the holidays. To me, that don't look like a lot,
especially for a girl.
Yeah, that's when we go to her mom's and stuff, which we have to carry a cool. But I'm a male,
you would still have room in that bag.
But you're thinking a female, like spending the holiday.
So
well, if it was a weekend, yes, but we're wondering why would she go? Because if you're going to
point more than that for a couple of days. Because it's ridiculous.
Because I usually have to get the. Well, if it was a weekend, yes, but we're wondering why would she go? Because if you're going to point
more than that for a couple of days. Because it's ridiculous.
Because I usually
still that's super small for a girl to be going away for holidays. Because that looks like essentially just clothes. Like, it doesn't look like she has any makeup, any shoes.
She could have a different bag for that.
Well,
this could just be clothes.
Well, true. Yeah. Multiple bags.
Like, that's kind of what I'm wondering. But, well, because what we were saying, though, like, she had to work Saturday and Sunday at like an evening, but she would be driving, like, say roughly an hour away. Would she do that just for a couple?
Yeah.
So, like, would she drive, say, an hour to work just to work 4 hours and turn back around? Like, so whenever she was going to the holidays, like, when somebody says, "Hey, I'm coming," I don't know.
I don't know.
That's what's kind of.
That's just what crossed my mind was like a few days.
Yeah. So it kind of just depends on what you're going with. Okay. Like, so that was just a theory I just want to throw out there. But not nothing against women, but to me, that thing in the sleeve kind of looks like a tampon. So
I still don't know why that's relevant.
it could be.
Maybe close to the holiday, and
Well,
she
yeah.
just bring. You gotta bring them. You have to bring
I
your
know.
feminine
But
products
to
in
me,
case.
that does look. I don't know because just the red, the purple pattern.
Yeah, it looks like one, but still, I don't feel that it's relevant because I have them everywhere,
Well, I know,
just in
but
case moments.
that could be why there's no sexual assault. But then they would have known that she was on her period, like they would have. I don't know. But
Just because she has it in her bag doesn't mean that she was on it there.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. What? Okay. Of '07. So it's hard to say if she was targeted. And then it said they said they had eliminated suspects on 1/26/08. Few more questions, and it's not enough to pursue a strong case. And he also said he believed the Huntington Police Department had already made contact with the killer. These three things saying that, it's hard to say if she was targeted. So they're still kind of saying it could be random. But like I said, we've kind of ruled that out as being, which not fully because, it's still not solved, but a lot of evidence don't point to that. But they have eliminated suspects. So that's one thing to look at. And the evidence they found, opened more questions, a few more. Are they talking about the hair they found, or are they talking about more things? That's what I kind of want to know. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Oh no, that's just kind of my opinion on that. Oh, my leg. I'm pretty sure because if they made contact with Kelly, that'd have been somebody they talked to. So that we can kind of go with that. Next part: what if Leah never packed her bags? What if it was staged? That would mean sister lied about her. Would they stage that to give them some time to hide Leah? They may have put her somewhere else and then moved her to the crawl space. Oh. I think I read that. I'm pretty sure I read that on Reddit. Like, I'm pretty sure. Very possible, but that's. I don't know. It makes it interesting because that means somewhere there's a tie-in that a cop would personally know her.
Just around like this tri-state area,
It's that ego.
Yeah.
That's basic. I think it's nothing against. Like, not all cops are bad,
You're
but there are
fine.
some. I don't. I don't think the bag, which that would be kind of the whole thing with not a lot of stuff in it. Okay, but going back into that, um, most things I've read is
I feel like they would have had to done it before rigor mortis set in, or they wouldn't have been able to get her in there.
unless they wrapped her in plastic already and then took her somewhere. Because to me, like if you're gonna wrap somebody in plastic, usually pulling her,
Slid,
yeah. But if you want to transport her in a car or something, no evidence of her body would be in the car if she's wrapped in plastic. It would be what you're thinking. So that's one way of looking at it. Because if you're just going, like, why would you put her in plastic if you're just going to put her, like, if
you're one person.
you're already knowing where she's going, unless it's just easy that way.
Yeah,
That'd be the only thing that made sense.
Like
unless
if it
you're
was
moving
a
her.
sister, she could probably pull pretty good.
But you just don't know how far she's pulling.
Probably pull pretty good.
But you just don't know how far she's pulling. Like, is she pulling down steps, stuff like that?
Well, not trying to sound bad about it, but like you could just pull her down the stairs.
But
Or she could have just let her roll.
But you think there's been a struggle somewhere? So yeah.
Pretty well, and
No,
probably predict her moves.
Wouldn't know weakness.
Yeah.
To report her missing. So almost 2 days. The dad was there on the 15th, like we have stated in our last video, and we assumed he arrived after Leah didn't show up to her shift at 5 p.m. So he lives roughly an hour away, so 6 at the earliest. Yeah, that's what's got me baffled on this. It just there's so many houses in that area, and the time frame that she possibly could have died in, like people.
So I know the talk of like laundry and stuff, but could they have like put her in one of those like laundry baskets and dry? The talk of like laundry and stuff, but could they have like or like some laundry baskets have like a rolly thing, you just tip it a little bit and roll. Thing you just tip it a little bit and roll. Like just made it look like clothes and put it down there.
I'd like to see the layout of the hallways and stuff. I think that would be after the rooms and stuff, but I'd like to see what the hallway looked like. Yeah, because they mentioned too, like plastic.
The water heater, the gloves from the guy, and she's coming down there, and he's like.
Well, they said there too, the plastic could have been like for painting as well. But I'm assuming it'd be the clear plastic painting, which you can get that in rolls, can't you?
Yeah, I feel like you could.
I don't know how. Wonder if there's a length on that. Because I'm kind of wondering, do they just roll her up in it, or they actually roll like folded till like her hair would be sticking out?
Plastic.
It'd be the big clear plastic. Is what I'm looking at. Okay, so if we're assuming that her dad got there at 6 at the earliest, that still leaves some time. But if her sister didn't kill her, then we have to factor in she was there at 1. Well, not her Facebook, but her MySpace post was made at 1, or she was there at 4. So whichever time, like I said, we go with, that feels best. So she makes the MySpace post at 1, so that that's, I don't know. I don't see the purpose of that feels best. So she makes the MySpace post at 1, so that that's, I don't know. I don't see the purpose of staging anything. Whoever done it most likely knew Liz, so they would know things would be shaken up by 5 p.m. Saturday when she didn't show up. So that's kind of what I'm going with. That by 5 p.m. they know how Leah was, because everything said that she never, missed work. Like if she was going to be late, made note of it. Told them she was going to be late.
I don't know. You can get whatever size you want. Like
she made note of it. Told them she was going to be late.
You can get whatever size you want. Like there's some that says 60 by 60, 9 foot by 12 foot, 10 by 100.
Well, depending on
the 10 by 100 is what looks pretty standard. That's what most of them saying.
10 by 100, which that would cover a lot of area.
But that's what the rolls look like.
That's pretty cheap too on that.
Yeah, well, that one is, yeah.
That's some of them's like $13.
That one's $105, but like basically, that's what the rolls look like.
We're assuming she got back, done all that. So if we go with that route, so I still say in between 6 and 9. And if her sister did show up at 1 o'clock the next day, you're looking at 12, 15, 16 hours roughly of a time frame to do everything in. But I kind of just see it being, because I don't see somebody hanging around there. I wouldn't think. Going back to the statement about the boyfriend from question 7, which that's talking about the lie detector test that he failed. I was also told it was mentioned military, but they were sure it was the current boyfriend of the sister. But I've never heard of the current boyfriend being in the military. Anyways, he stated, anyways, the person stated 6 to 8 years ago at a party, he told them he got away with murder, and that's where he was in the military. Unless the current boyfriend at that time was in the military, but I've never heard that.
Sometimes I don't trust this stuff. Like I hear it and I'm like, okay, well, yeah, that could be taken into consideration. But I also feel like some people could just be saying shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Well,
like,
6 8 years ago, because this was in 2019 or 2020. 8 years ago, it'd be 2011, 2013. So that's 4 to 6 years after the fact. So that's one thing to look at. So just kind of goes with whatever you want to think. But I'm kind of assuming the ex-boyfriend on that. One thing that was mentioned, we've talked about this before, but it was mentioned again with more information that could shed some light on it. But it was told this came from Leah's family, and we mentioned, like I said in another video, that it was her sister, and fans want to lose a sister, because she would go to prison and all that. So with this report, though, they mentioned Leah and her were fighting over the same guy. So it would be possibly the current boyfriend of sister. They thought sister caught boyfriend with Leah, so they both killed her. Hold on. So unless Glass are right down there, fork on the water. Okay, so that's very true. I don't know what to believe anymore. Yeah, it's kind of
so they think that the sister caught the
this is
boyfriend
supposed.
and
This
Leah
is supposed.
together.
This is somebody.
So the boyfriend that was with Leah is just like, oh, it's okay, babe. Let's just kill her. Like,
well, that's what. Okay,
that's weird.
Supposedly, this came from Leah's family.
Like, I could see the sister being like, oh, bitch, I'm gonna kill you, but like, why would the dude, if he was being involved with both of them, be like, it's all right, like, we'll just kill her?
Like, if it's the current boyfriend, so if they're fighting over him, and if, like, that's my question. If you caught your boyfriend with your sister, would you kill her? Like, would you be, like we were saying, would you be like, oh, yeah, let's do it? Like, would you be all up for it?
My sister, but if I was gonna kill anybody, I'd kill him.
Yeah, because anyway, like, if you kill her, your boyfriend's still a cheater.
Yeah.
Like, all the sis tries to say is, hey, he done it. All the sis tries to say is, hey, he done it. All he has to say is, she done it. And I don't think they're still together anymore. But, like, I don't know. Like, if they're not together anymore, like, do you think two people say that this was the theory and suppose this might have happened? Could they hold that secret? Would that be something that, could they hold?
I mean, I don't know. I hate the
could they hold?
I mean, I don't know. I hate the
anything's possible.
You trust them and you're in a good place, but as soon as people that you've been friends for a long time or you like date are running their mouth, I hate that. I've been like, don't matter how mad you get at me or how mad I get at you, we can't be saying nothing. Like,
one thing though, too, though, if one does turn on the other, there could be stuff that still ties into that person too. Like if she told on him, well, in something could tie in.
People are selfish
because whatever evidence the police has might be able to confirm that, hey, that's what happened.
Yeah.
So this is still, like I said, you can kind of still take this as speculation, as a rumor. But we need time Leah was killed. Like I said, it's never been, public knowledge besides it was the 14th, the day she went missing. So, like I said, rough time is after the last phone call, roughly 9 o'clock. If it was after that time, so it could throw a lot of stuff out and pinpoint to a possible suspect. And I read somewhere, and a person had just slipped up and said the sister, and there was no lights on in their apartment, if she remembers correctly. In case if you threaten me to never tell a person I still have see from some things Max did to me, and never murder though to be scared enough to say. Yeah, it's very possible, like it is, because I know there's movies and stuff about it. people's talked about. They do something together, like it's still a bond they have. And even though that if they're not together, hate each other, they still will not say nothing just because it's scary. It's sad that you were put in that situation, but it like it sucks that a lot of people have been put in that situation before. Um, so going with if it's after 9, and then the 7:30, if her car was there and the no lights on the apartment, like if this woman remembers that exactly, that kind of makes me, kind of. But does that narrow down the time um, right after Leah got home? So kind of wonder when they start working, the maintenance men start working that day. Because if she sees them at 7:30, and this is on a Friday, I don't see them staying over until 7:30, unless they were just trying to really get it finished up. So they could have, which they could have been doing it too, trying to hurry so they can get off. Because really you're looking at 11 days until Christmas. Because if they say, see how. So you're kind of looking at, like I said, when they started working that day, they would have seen Leah arrive home, and I don't think it's ever been made public if anybody was there or not. So that's what I'm saying. Like if she's seen them, I'm not trying to throw out her claim, but I'm assuming they talked to them because said they were cleared, but they would have seen Leah come home. I would think, wouldn't you think?
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't think the sisters mentioned anything about them being there when she was there at 4, 3:30, 4 o'clock. But like I said, but may not have really notice of it because that was just where maybe they'd been working on their all because she was used to being there. Um, I was also told this that the lady. I was also told this that the lady worker and the boyfriend. So that's another person throwing it out there. It was a sister and the boyfriend. I received. Okay, yeah. I received a comment from a lady saying she worked at a BP, and she said Leah would come in with a boy. She said he always wore a brown jacket. She said it may have been someone else.
7:30 at night.
Yeah. What?
Yeah, it would be dark.
Yeah, at that time, because in December, yeah, it gets dark at what, 5?
Yeah, you're right.
5 to 6, somewhere through there. See, that would even make it more possible. Like if the maintenance men were there, they would see her car lights pull because her car was parked on the side of the apartment building. Like however way she parked, you would think there's lights and everything.
Yeah.
Hearing the car door shut and whatever the one was left open for. But yeah, someone else, at least it was Leah and a boyfriend. I've never heard of her having a boyfriend at the time, so not sure what to make of the comment. Could have been a male friend, or it might have just not been Leah at all. So Leah at all. So that kind of, I know Leah's supposedly went on some dates, and I remember talking to a guy that went on a couple dates with Leah, but he said like he didn't know nothing. Know nothing. Before we go, and I did get another comment. This lady said she had a friend who had dated the ex, and she said he was very abusive to her and nearly killed her. He had family that covered up a lot of the stuff he'd done. The friend admitted that she could see him killing Leah. The friend admitted that she could see him killing Leah and that he was creepy. And this is the person we're hoping to get in contact with and talk to her. So far, that has. Let me go into this probably. Hold on, I'm trying to go through my notes. Okay, I have to wait because I got to cover this first. Okay, this is what's kind of got me. I was messaged about this, and it kind of threw me for a loop, and I'm not sure what to make of it. But a woman worked with the sister and talked. State police did search the building too, because some people said, just Huntington. We knew that. State police was called in too. But this lady said the body was found by her sister and mother days later. State police was called in too. But this lady said the body was found by her sister and mother days later because the crawl space wasn't noticeable. Everything I have read, the police have. That changes things up a bit.
Why would they be looking?
We're going into that. But they kept searching after the cops left. I asked her, because I've read, the police found her, and she said they got her out, but sister found the crawl space in the basement and told them. That could have been why they went back, because they said all the evidence led back to them.
The sister told them?
Yeah, that they found the crawl space, like they found her, and then they told the police, hey, I found her.
She done it.
It was a day or two after the cops left. From the timeline, it does add up. 1 or 2 days. So if they were there at least Wednesday, 2 days later is Friday. So that could be why they found, the sister or mom found her.
The sister probably knew the whole time.
She states Leah was washing clothes. Remember, we talked about this because that guy I talked to on the phone, he said she was washing clothes. And her phone and purse were in the apartment. Sister kept searching building. When was found, why has it never been stated it was found? That's kind of what makes me wonder. But so if this phone was found, why has it never been stated it was found? That's kind of what makes me wonder. But we know
they ain't telling details.
But they would still say the phone. Like, why would you say the whole time that the phone wasn't found?
Probably waiting on somebody to text it.
True.
At that time.
True. But I don't know, because saying it was found in the apartment.
Like now, I don't know why.
But I asked, not made public, she didn't know, and a lot about the case is weird. She said a lot of them thought ex-boyfriend. This is her and people, at work there and all that with the sister. But he comes back, and shortly after, Leah is dead. He lived there a long time. That's how he met the sister and eventually moved in with her. She said he was an ass on quite a few occasions, and sister ended the relationship right before he got home. He had lived at the apartment for a long time and was there before the sister moved in. He may have known about the crawl space. The cops did investigate him as a major suspect, but never heard of why they stopped thinking it was him. Sister said he was given a lie detector test. Action said not guilty. But the lady would go on and talk about the sister by saying, I know everybody thought it was her, but because of the lack of tears and her being calm, she said that's just her. Like we've talked about this before, like a lot of people said that's just how she is. But she doesn't show emotion much. She didn't even cross my mind when it happened. It was her because of the way Leah died and the way she was found and how it was hidden. So this was my big message that I was, if all this is true, that opens up a lot.
Yes, but I know it don't sound normal and stuff like that, but if she snapped or something.
Didn't. That's what and if the phone's there, like that's what makes it all interesting. I don't know. It's confused me. Like I've been wanting to get this out since I've known about it, because like it's still speculation, but I don't know. It leaves me speechless.
Yeah, it's cool and all, but I don't know. I get irritated with all these theories because there's too much going
Well,
on.
that's one thing I looked at with. That's why I mentioned. If they were there at least Wednesday, 1 to 2 days later,
Like, why would the cops say they found her? Because they don't want to look, oh, we gave up and these civilians just done our job because we're lazy and we suck.
Nothing against them, but if I mess up on something, I'm gonna take
because we're lazy and we suck.
Nothing against them, but if I mess up on something, I'm gonna take credit for something good that comes out of it. But the guy I talked on the phone, he said the same thing, that she was washing clothes, and he said this was told to him by a cop. This lady said she talked with the trooper that was there since day one, worked with the sister. So like some of the things do add up.
Like, I mean, it must suck for the sister for people not to know her and be like, oh yeah, you're pretty sketchy. But I mean,
well, we talked about like some people just won't so much. She said she cried, just not like there's pictures of her crying. I know we've talked about this in other videos, but there are pictures of her crying.
If I wouldn't, and like if I was in this situation and I actually did do it, and then people were like hating on me, I'd be like, I would do everything I could and be like, oh my god, I'm not that type of person. Like anyone that knows me knows, like, yeah, I would put on every excuse, charm, whatever you want to call it. I would put on everything that I had to make me look less likely.
But at the end, about the way she died and the way she was found and how, and about the way she died and the way she was found and how it was hidden. So, to me personally, if the cops think that kind of makes me think they assume a man done it. Is the way I think it. So I don't know. I still think it had to be a guy. The sister don't. It's like something has some way, shape, or form. I think she knew some way, shape, or form. I think she knew something was wrong. Something was going on. I think that if it was the guy, that the guy had said something or freaked out and was like, "Oh my god," and she was probably like, say whatever she had to say, and freaked out. And she was probably like, say whatever she had to say, and freaked out about it. We all are thinking on our group chat that he probably scared her into not saying anything. But she knows, like, if someone very close is involved. I don't care. It may not be a sister. Someone very, very close is in on this. Has to be. But with that saying, the boyfriend lived there before the. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, she's involved somehow. Like, she may not actually killed her, but she knew something. She knows, maybe like knows more than what she's saying. Yeah, like she might not know exactly what happened. She might not know what happened, but she knows more gut feeling of who done it type thing. That's kind of what I could see. Because I don't see, like I said, if she was caught, the boyfriend thing. I feel strongly about that she could probably have somebody convicted for it. I feel like she knows enough that she probably could. That's one of the biggest rumors. But that's what I would say. Like, I don't know. Like, if we go with that they found her, because I remember talking about that. Could that be why? If that, I just don't get why the phone never was mentioned. Which, like I said, it might have never still been found. But like I said, I don't know, and I don't know why it would. Like I said, I don't know why it wouldn't be said if they found her. Never was mentioned. Which, like I said, it might have never still been found. But like I said, I don't know, and I don't know why it would. Like I said, I don't know why it wouldn't be said if they. Then they. The cops are definitely just taking credit, like they said. If that's the case, then that would be what's going on here. But according to this woman, though, sister, the motion thing, like we talked about in the suspect video, that's kind of just what it goes with. I have a theory that kind of lead into this. This is why I didn't want to talk about it until after getting that out. But I kind of wonder this, and wonder if she put clothes in the washer, went to the McDonald's. Then she left, got McDonald's, and when she got back, this is where someone had met her. Could explain the back door being partly opened. Maybe gained something out of the back seat. She was killed just right outside the building. But I'd still think that'd be too risky. Killed just inside the building. You see the dark area, and that goes right down to the basement. Um, or the person walked down to the basement with her to help, maybe switch the clothes out to the dryer. They ended up killing her there. This individual would go to Leah's apartment, eat her food, and leave shortly after. So that means there would be. I'm kind of wondering if she got right after she got out of the car. She might something, maybe whatever she help you with that. Say that they went downstairs, she's like, oh yeah, I gotta put my clothes in the dryer. She had on there and does that. There, puts it in her room, eats her food, leaves, and goes on about his day. Or it could have been, not even a maintenance man. It could just be anybody. Like, what if she never even ate her food? Like I said, maybe somebody else done all that.
Well, if we knew more and could open things,
The only
no.
Because it doesn't explain the dogs not going down to the basement. Because from my understanding, the dogs never picked a scent in the basement.
Because if we could even get an autopsy report, we'd know if she had food in her belly.
Yeah, a lot of people have wondered that, like what was in her belly. And if the two workers, like I said, were there at 7:30ish, I'm sure they would have been there at 5:40ish. When Leah returned, it seems, with any theory that we have, there's something. So, but you would think though, if she had clothes in the washer, the dogs would pick her scent up there. Because the way I understood it, just went straight apartment to car.
No. I think the whole dog thing's stupid. They did not do anything.
It sounds like the dogs might have messed up. I know the cops kind of said like.
No. I think the whole dog thing's stupid. They did not do anything.
It sounds like the dogs might have messed up. I know the cops kind of said like we don't know why, like they can't say why.
Well, they can't even train their cops right. They probably can't train their dogs right either.
That's just mean.
I don't care.
I don't know. Police have bad reps everywhere. Like a lot of cases that we've researched.
Property and shit, like
they find like a lot of cops I've seen. They find the easy way out because there's been cases that we've looked at, researched. Not saying we're as experts or anything on this. I've always said I'm nothing special on true crime. I'm 30 years old. Like I've been in true crime, I would say most of my life. I listen to podcasts every day. I listen to podcasts every day. Think they would have checked it up in the air if they even found the receipt in the trash. Like because that receipt don't look wadded up. Most people just wad the receipts and check them. Yeah, that does not look crumbled up. With it being by a calculator there on the floor.
Oh, she just threw it. Yeah, like.
Yeah, that does not look crumbled up. With it being by a calculator on the floor.
Oh, she just threw it. Yeah, like.
Well, yeah, on the floor. See, they're saying that the wrappers, like we talked about in the one, the wrapper supposedly, the way I understood, was like in the apartment.
So her nuggets to be in a wrapper. It's a box.
So where would she? Because her
where
room.
are you getting a wrapper? Like, why would they say wrapper?
Yeah, that's my whole. But I don't know because her bed's on crates. And
that's a good idea too. Like if you don't have a bed frame and you don't want your bed on the floor, like that's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a very possibility. But like I said, with the cop thing though, I've seen a lot of them take the ability, but to fit their not evidence that fits what actually happens would be the best way to explain that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like they get this thing in their head, and that's what they go with. So
that's the way they want to make them. A bunch of people.
They'll bend and break everything to fit their story, not the real story. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, if it was burger wrap, because box, or they could have said leftover, like her McDonald's trash. That would be like wrappers. Just seem more.
Wrappers is very specific.
Yeah.
For something that wasn't there.
You made fun of me for talking about this, and it goes right back to it. So see, it's the little things. It really is the little things. I don't know. Like that's my theory. Like I wonder if, because we've talked about this in the videos. How could, like me personally, if I just killed somebody in a place that I like, even if I lived there at one point, me, Like, if she died by the anytime.
I mean, you gotta leave.
Well, I know, but I'm saying, like, if she died any time between 6 to 9 or whenever, like, we can get a more of an estimate, closer time frame to when she died. But if we're going with 6 to 9, most people still up. I'm going to leave that place and not hoping, because we know the whole.
If you work there,
One guy was out of town, but like, I don't know. Would you be bold enough to walk out?
yeah, because if I'm
Town, but like, I don't know. Would you be bold enough to walk out?
yeah, because if I'm in and out of that place all the time, anyways, I'm not gonna give a shit. Because like if I'm always in and out, they're gonna be like, oh, there she goes again.
But they know. I don't know.
I don't think it's suspicious if you're always in and out of a certain building. I don't think it's suspicious to be in and out like you always are.
Yeah, but if somebody looks at me like, well, what's that man walking out of there when the one guy's gone? I see his car's been gone for days, and the sister's car is gone. Leah's car's the only one there. Who's that man walking out of that building? That's all it takes is one neighbor to see somebody that's like, hey.
Probably not questioning it if they were regularly there.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. But if they're assuming it's a man, they would know that he's not there. Because see what the whole ex-boyfriend, to fit that, the maintenance men actually fit more in that category. Kill Leah. When they leave, people are like, oh, they're just done with their job. But I just don't see them being there. I don't know. I just don't see them being there that late on a Friday. That's just my opinion. But, like I said, we can't rule anything out. I'm just saying, like, well, my whole just hung out because we know when they painted the building, nobody noticed that we know of. So could they have hung out like they had a room, key to a room, and then just, hey, that person turned off their lights, these people turned off their lights, I can leave now.
Maybe.
Do we know of any suspicious cars in the area? We've talked about that truck, but that could have been, maintenance truck, the one that, I think it was on the 20th on the picture. Like, does any of the neighbors remember anything suspicious? Because you all and stuff. So it still kind of point to somebody new. So it still kind of point to somebody new. Like somebody had to have been there. Like, well, meaning somebody that knows the building. And somebody that would not be questioned seen leaving there late. If it's somebody question it, because people's going to question a suspicious car as well, especially around this. So it all depends, I think. Is that what you're going like? My personal opinion, like what we've stated before, a lot of it does go to it was personal. So not saying the sister done it or any of the boyfriends, but a lot of the evidence does point to at least either or boyfriend. Whether it is or not, evidence seems to point to either one. So we're at least knowing, let us point to at least either or boy. So we're at least knowing, like, I personally feel the killer knows. And so if the bar thing happened, they could just think they're joking as well. So before we wrap all this up, I'm the type, as you noticed from the videos and stuff, I'm just gonna throw out everything that I hear to let you all decide. And this is just basically us trying to keep Leah's case in the spotlight. Because all of this, whether all this is speculation, some of it there's truth in it, and maybe it's right. Because eventually, once all of this, whether all this is speculation, some of it there's truth in it, and maybe at some point more people will talk, more people will open up and connect those truths with what I have written down in the notebook, and could work with what I have written down in the notebook, and could work. Well, I know they checked a lot of the.
They're not going to be like they're not going to hold that up. You know what I mean?
Well, I know they checked a lot of the houses like that. Going back to the cop, I think it seems like where she was just labeled missing, they kind of just, it was already too late to really get. Like, yeah, they did investigate a lot of people, talk to a lot of people, but maybe something more could have been done where they just assumed she was missing. So I don't know. You know what I mean? 'Cause maybe there could have been more evidence in the apartment and just everybody showing up the next day because like people stomping all over that apartment. But like I said, if there's somebody that was there last week, I go there all the time. I hang out with the all out there, and hopefully, right now this is the end of our live videos on Leah's case. Like I said, I'm talking to somebody from Netherlands that's putting something together, and I talked to them earlier today, and they have a few people put in on it. So I'm interested to get that out there for you guys, which it will be a blog. Not sure. It could be a long one, but they're trying to put it all together so it can be read better. But I'm really interested to see what they come with it. And they're hoping, because they know nothing about the case besides just watching these videos, watching the other stuff out there on Leah, reading the articles and stuff. So we're getting somebody, like I said, not even from here, checking it out. So hopefully, they said within a week or so, be more of what they come up with. So, but thank you all for tuning in. This video ended up being
This was long. Like, y'all that have hung here and watched the whole thing, like, y'all some real ones, because I would not have sat through this.
Yeah, sorry that we've been in and out.
Like, y'all some real ones, because I would not have sat through this.
Yeah, sorry that we've been in and out today.
It sucks anyway, but when the weather's bad.
But we've talked about this in almost every video. But whoever Braden's mommy is, you've been through a lot of our videos. I've seen you like stuff on our Instagram and all that, and we thank anybody that comes on here and watches live. So like, you have a video that a lady done that was like 30 some minutes, and you got the mysterious Western Union that done 20 some minute video that was almost 40 minutes that I done 2 years ago. We've put in well over probably 5 to 6 hours now,
and I
talking
don't
about
mean
various
to seem annoyed,
things.
but I am tired.
Yeah, like I've spent a lot of time, and people I've talked with, we got the blogs out, so put a lot of time in this. We've spent, the whole month on this. So, but we thank you all for tuning in. And like I said, as soon as I get all that information that the person's working on, I will get that out there. But I'd like to thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you all later.